been a Killian Hayes defender since day one, and I still am. And I know a lot of people aren't. A lot of people have jumped on the hate train for Killian Hayes. But for me, for Killian, I'm giving him a C plus, which maybe some people will agree. I think a lot of people might disagree with that. Listen, here's the thing with Killian Hayes. He showed a lot of improvement this year, a ton of improvement in his third season. Okay, and the other thing, I know people are going to look at the shooting splits, 37% from the field, I believe 27 or 28% from three. Yes, those are terrible, but Killian Hayes should not have been playing against starters this year. You have to take that into account. In a perfect world, Cade Cunningham would have been on the Pistons, and Killian Hayes would have been playing against bench players. So you have to take that into account. I think if Killian Hayes was coming off the bench like he should have been, those percentages would probably be a little bit better and a little bit more respectable, to the point where maybe he could have shot 40% from the field. And, the shooting splits wouldn't be such a big talking point. But other than that, Killian Hayes averaged 6.2 assists per game, a career high, to just 2.3 turnovers a game. That is almost a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, which is very, very good, especially for a 21-year-old point guard. And I don't know. I don't understand the hate for him. He's just 21 years old. He also averaged 1.4 steals a game as well. And listen, I've gotten to the point with Killian Hayes is I still believe he's going to be a starter in this league. I think he is going to be good enough to be a average, maybe a borderline starting point guard in the NBA. It's not gonna be for the Detroit Pistons. Obviously, he's not gonna start with Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey gonna be there. But I'm not giving up on Killian Hayes as a player. I've just sort of given up on him as a Detroit Piston. But to say that there hasn't been improvement, to say that this season, for his third season, has been a complete disappointment is just not true. Because there was a lot of improvement. Like I said, career high in assists, very good assist to turnover ratio. Obviously, the defense has been there, and the shooting percentage. That's really what he needs to work on. Is just becoming a more efficient scorer. If he does that, he's becomes pretty much the player we wanted him to be. And I say we wanted him to be because some people, they still look at him with the number 7 pick and say, oh, he needs to be a really good point guard in this league, an all-star. Killian Hayes is never going to be an all-star, okay? But if he, like I said, can be an above average starting point guard or just a solid starting point guard, I think that's a very valuable pick, because what he does for your team with his passing, with his defense. So, yes, Killian Hayes did not have a disappointing season. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care that he shot 37% from the field. If he shot 40% from the field, would we all be saying his season was disappointing? I don't think so. And the other thing, too, is we saw the stretches of games that he had. He had like an 8 to 10 game stretch where he looked really, really good. I remember at one point he was averaging like 16 points a game during a short stretch during the season. And, when players show you those flashes, you have to believe them. Obviously, consistency is what makes NBA players great, but he's 21 years old. Like, I think we have to take that into account. So Killian Hayes, wow, some people might say it was a disappointment. I don't think so. And will he be on the Pistons next year? I hope so, because I think the Pistons have two options here. They can go out and they can sign a veteran point guard. No one really coming to mind right now for me, but yeah, maybe a veteran point guard for like $8 to $12 million and give them minutes off the bench. Or you can give it to Killian Hayes, which to me, there's no reason to sign a veteran point guard this year. I'm not going to get into what I expect from the Pistons next year because we really don't know what the team's going to look like. But I don't expect the Detroit Pistons to be contending for a playoff spot next year. I don't expect them to be contenders in the Eastern Conference. So give Killian Hayes as many minutes as you can. And you know what? If Killian Hayes comes off the bench next year and shoots under 40%, all right, then I think at that point you've given him enough. You've given him his full rookie contract, and then you can look to move on. But I think giving up on him after 3 years, I still think is too early for Killian Hayes. So Killian Hayes, my season grade for him is a C+. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with that. And yes, I still expect big things from him. I still expect him to be an impact player in this league for a very, very long time. And I really do hope he's with the Pistons next season.